Hey, Ted here. I'm about to do a Yamaha 3 horsepower 2-stroke lower unit impeller change, so let's get right to it. Alright, so what I've done is there's this little rubber plug here, and take this rubber plug out, and there's a 10mm bolt here that holds a little fixture that holds the shift shaft, so you just loosen that up. There's a bolt for the zinc on the top up here on the bottom of the drive. There's another stud below that, and then there's two more fasteners. They're all 10mm socket. Take those all off, the lower unit slides off, and here's what we got. Okay, here's the 4 fasteners for taking the lower unit off. Here's your anode bolt, your other 2 bolts, and actually it is, they're not a stud, it's actually 3 bolts. So the zinc looks like one you don't have to take off. Yeah, I definitely have to take that off. That goes to the lower. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in the front. Once that's off, I just clamp this to the table real quick. I've done the bolts, taken the 4 bolts out. There is no slinger on the top of this that prevents debris from going in there like bigger units. It'd be nice if they had one. This thing pumped water fine, and it was funny, my neighbor said, do you think you need to do a water pump change? And I said, you always do a water pump change when you don't know what you're dealing with. So pop it off, and yep, look at that. It's missing 2 impeller vanes right there. Can't miss that. All right, so pull the impeller off, and yep, it's missing 2 impeller vanes here. If I can get it in focus. So I got to find those 2 right there. I got to find those pieces. Oh, I see one already. So there's one right here. And let me rotate the shaft. There's a key pin, and that pin, don't lose that pin because I don't think it comes in the kit. So I'm going to leave that right there. There's one piece of the impeller. So then I got to find the other. Let's take the wear plate off because we're going to replace that. Up. Lucky that. Look at that. There's the other piece. How lucky. Okay. So both impeller pieces are right here. Got lucky there. No real restriction that I could see, but definitely needed a water pump impeller change. So we'll put it back together real quick with you. Okay, let's go over what's in the new kit. So the new kit has the cup and the O-ring. There's an O-ring here in the cup. We're going to replace that in a moment. The new guide. That looks okay. I probably don't need to change that. The impeller, 2 large stainless studs, which are actually the locating pins for the actual water pump here and here. They're in great shape, so I don't know why they put them in the kit, but they do. The thing, like I said, what doesn't come in the kit is that new key. I don't see it anywhere in the kit, so you know, that's too bad that you don't have that key. New wear plate, O-ring, you know, all the pieces you need. So we're going to pop that O-ring out first. Just grab that out. There we go. And then I got to take that cover plate off. Now, when I take that cover plate off, I'm going to put it over a couple blocks of wood over here and then just tap it out. So I'll show you that. Couple pieces of plywood here. I need a smaller screwdriver maybe than this to fit in here to catch that cup. I think I've got it. Dead blow hammer. There it goes. And the cup comes right out. So there's the cup, the old cup. So we're going to put the new one in there. Now at this point we want to take a look in this housing to make sure it's not melted or anything bad has happened to it. So I'm going to take the new cup and I'm going to put the new cup in there with that tab fitting in that slot. There it is. Right, and it fits flush. So that won't rotate now. Now all I need to do is put the O-ring on. Okay, I got the new O-ring in there. Just sits right in there nice. Okay, so I've got the key in. My impeller is blank on one side and it's got the slot on the other. So again, it's impossible to put it back together wrong. The slot's nice, it lines up. I want again, make sure I can't turn that. Get all the O-ring pieces out, got that changed. All right, back down again, and then I gotta turn that shaft, which means it has to be in neutral. So push the shift down a little bit to get it neutral so it'll spin. And I'm going to use a rag at this point because this shaft is really small, so I'm going to get a little tension on it if I can. Push down, rotate, there it is. A little wiggle back and forth, and I know that impeller is good. Now I'm going to put grease on my new bolts, put them back in there. Alright, I'm going to torque these to 25 inch-pounds. That's plenty tight, but it's even this way. There we go. Okay, ready to go back on. Alright, I got grease on the drive shaft splines, so we're ready to put it back on. So when I'm ready to put the shift shaft in, I'll make sure that the shift lever's in neutral and that this rod is pushed back down into neutral. But right now it pops up and it goes into gear, so that helps me turn that drive shaft. I'm going to turn that prop shaft counterclockwise. Make sure you line the water tube up. That's probably the hardest thing, but you can see in here just fine. You can see the tube. Once that tube's started, rotate that drive shaft, see if I can line up the splines and the power head. There it goes. One more check with a flashlight for that water tube. Make sure I didn't miss it. Yes, I'm in the water tube, that's fine. Okay, rotate the drive shaft, get the splines lined up. There we are. Okay. Now we got to get that shift shaft lined up. And here again, I've got that lower shaft is lined up. It's hard to see from here, but with the outboard tilted in the right position, you can see it went right through that guide. So it's already installed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it down. I'm going to take a screwdriver. I'm going to push the lower unit. I'm going to pop it back in neutral. And then I'm going to pull this down to the bottom and tighten it up. We'll shift it into forward. 2 bolts here. Got grease on the bolts. One more bolt in the front. Down low. All right, I'm going to reach in here, pull that shaft down until it locks into position. All right, there's neutral. Put my shift shaft into neutral. Pull that guide back down if I can. Okay, it's in neutral. Just got to stay there for a moment while I tighten this bolt up. Just lightly hold it down because it's about in the center. And then we're going to snug that bolt up. There's neutral. There's forward. Perfect. Okay, rubber cap goes back on. That's it. Okay, we're ready to put it in the water. Last but not least, the zinc anode. This is going on a little dinghy, in and out of the water. It's not going to be staying in the water, so I'm not too concerned about the anode. I'll torque that. we go. And that's it, ready for the water.